Have you heard this before? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. But what does that actually mean? Is there a world inside of you that you're unaware of perhaps, or is it something else? If there is a world inside you, how do you get there? Even more so, if this is true, how exactly is it a reflection of what you see outside? It's all a little confusing at first, isn't it? Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest scientists of all time, said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He was a man far beyond his time. I often wonder, what the world would actually look like if they hadn't confiscated and destroyed all of his work. Anywho, let's get back to his quote. The first step to understanding how you shape your reality is by understanding that everything in this perceivable universe is made up of energy, frequencies, and vibrations. This is scientific fact, not the kind of science that they tell you in the news to brainwash you. Actual science. Through your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you are constantly creating energy, frequency, and vibration. Another term for these three words are emotions. Emotions, aka energy in motion, is what shapes your reality. To put it in a simpler way, have you ever woken up really, really angry or upset, and somehow, no matter how much you tried, the day just didn't get any better? In fact, it kind of got worse because everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. You following me? You see, like it or not, that's you creating the reality inside to outside. The way you feel, the way you think, and the way you act. They all play a part in what you all experience in your day-to-day life. Just like that, you can take control of your reality by taking control of yourself. It seems easy enough, but in practice, it is a lifelong conquest that most never even start, let alone partake in. If you want the key to unlocking your reality and living the life you've always wanted, it comes down to these two words: self-mastery. If you do not hold self-mastery as one of your main focuses in your life, I have news for you. Someone else will master you instead. And hey, it could be your parents, it could be your friends, it could be your teachers, it could be your work colleagues, it could even be your boss. It doesn't matter who it is. If it is not you, it will be someone else. It could even be that place that you're currently living in, or maybe even those thoughts that you keep repetitively thinking in your head. It could even be what you see on TV. My point is, you will always have a master. If you do not decide that the master is you, you will be mastered by something else. Your mind is the key. Realize that your life will only change once you accept your inner world shapes your outer reality. Self-mastery isn't just important. No, self-mastery is crucial if you want to take control of your life. The reason your life isn't currently the way it could be or the way you'd want it to be is simply because you have a lack of awareness to how you've been unconsciously programmed to think, feel, and act. Since birth, your parents, who have also been programmed, brackets not their fault, program you. You went to school, and now the teachers program you too. Then you find a group of friends and you all share similar programs, further cementing these beliefs into your membrane. Then what do? You go and get a job and everyone thinks like you, and to top it off, your boss tells you that you're useless, so now you start believing that you are. You watch TV and all there is drama and chaos, so you think, I guess my life is pretty normal compared to this. How lucky am I? The programming is insidious. You have been programmed from the day that you were born to believe, think, feel, and act a certain way. If you're unaware of this and you don't actively change these belief systems, the life you live will also be dictated by this very same system. In a system designed to support creating people that are smart enough to work, get married, have kids, but not smart enough to realize their innate divine abilities. Courage is realizing the lies you've been sold and taking it upon yourself to create a life outside of this matrix. Why do you think that they teach you exactly what to think in school? Critical thinking isn't even a thing, is it? In fact, funnily enough, it's frowned upon. Have you ever made a comment outside of the teachable curriculum? I know I have. We all have, but what happened? You got told to shut up, more or less. It's like the teacher's programming can't compute what you just said, and they have a malfunction. The default response is to shut down anything that touches on subjects outside of the teachable curriculum. And all a curriculum is, by the way, is just a program. They just give it a fancy word so you don't know that. Why don't they want people thinking for themselves though? It's simple. Creating a nation of critical thinkers would be very hard to control. The people who design your life path know that life is merely a product of intelligent design, and it is also influenced by your thoughts, feelings, and actions. If they can get you to think, feel, and act in a certain way, you will never rebel, because to you, this way of being is normal. A slave can only know he's a slave if things don't seem normal. If they do, well then that's just life, isn't it? How many times have you complained about the way things are, only to hear a phrase like, oh, it's just life, or, just get on with it, or this is my personal favorite, which is, it is what it is. Oh yeah, okay, no worries, that makes it okay, does it? I'll just keep my head down and smile for the camera. This is the matrix programming in full effect. People that say such phrases don't mean any harm, but they are so locked into the very system that has made them this way that they will unknowingly protect it. To go against it would be to get a hammer and take it to their flimsy reality, and most couldn't handle it being shattered. It's the fear of change and the unknown. Do you know why they say that when you're a child, your brain is like a sponge? They say this because during the ages of 2 to 6, your brain operates primarily in the theta brainwave state, which is the same state that you can access through meditation, breath work, and deep sleeping. The significance of that is this state is the seat of the subconscious mind. It is in this state that it is most active, influenced, and programmable. So during your early stages of development, what were you told the most? What did you experience? What did you think and feel? Every single day that you lived, you were downloading programs into your mind, into your membrane, these belief systems that would later go on to shape your life, because that is the software your subconscious mind is using to operate. Imagine that. The unconscious programming you receive from childhood is limiting your personal growth. Better still, it's getting in the way of you changing your situation because you don't feel like you need to. How can you be aware of a problem if you don't think that it's a problem? You might not know this, but doctors used to promote cigarettes and tell people that they were good for them. Do you think that people ever thought that they were bad that heard this from their doctors? Of course they didn't, but we know a lot better now, don't we? The lack of awareness that you have in your life and the way that you've been living it is exactly what is preventing you from recognizing the self-imposed limitations that you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. To overcome this, you need awareness, clarity, and direction. Failure will lead to an unfulfilling life, living to build someone else's dreams rather than your own. But hey, if that's what you'd like, you may continue. But my bet is that it isn't. And if it isn't, then you have the power to change it. Would you agree that something needs to change? Most of our software has already been installed and we didn't get the chance to choose what that software does. Worse still is that we aren't even aware that this has happened. The first step is bringing awareness to the operating system in your mind that has been directing your life for so long. And the next step is to change it. The fear of change and the unknown means that taking actions that are outside of your standard daily programming may seem daunting, and this often inhibits being able to change your mindset. But what I would say is, what seems more daunting? Going after your dreams or living a life you despise until death do us part? The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha. It just makes sense. Mastering your mind is the only logical step to creating a life that you can truly be proud of. You cannot live this type of life if you don't choose to partake on this journey. Remember, you have been programmed to live a life that isn't yours, so in order to take control, there is only one option. Yes, there are risks, but aren't you taking a risk by not choosing to change? Yes, you might fail, but surely that's better than never trying. Yes, it will be difficult at times, but isn't life difficult right now for you anyway? When you look at it rationally, you don't really have anything to lose. but you do have everything to gain. You have the opportunity right now in this present moment to make a decision. That decision will lead to you not only mastering yourself, it will lead to you discovering your purpose, which will in turn be the catalyst for you living a happier and more fulfilled life. You can't get these kind of perks working a job that you hate. It only comes through self-mastery. Self-mastery will lead to you achieving fulfillment, purpose, and happiness by mastering your mind, developing resilience and inner balance to navigate life's challenges, and finding and creating ways to live that complement your values. The destination only you know, but I can tell you this, on this journey you will discover what it is to find peace and balance in your life. The goal isn't to get more time to go on holidays, it's to create a life that you don't need to take holidays from. Mastering your mind will lead you to this reality. That voice in your head right now that is telling you that you can't is the programming, and it is not you. The battle that we must face is challenging or confronting the deep-seated programming that we've been operating from our entire lives, ripping it out and replacing it with new wiring that supports the type of life that we want to live. Perceptually, our minds see this as an attack on our very existence. The only option that it has is to try and protect us in any way that it can. Your mind doesn't realize the programming isn't keeping you safe, it's keeping you small. It simply thinks, well, we've made it this far, changing things now would mean danger. Let's stay safe because safe is good. And realistically, this survival trigger isn't easy to overcome by anyone's standards, but it becomes easier to identify when it's happening if you know what you're looking for. The thoughts in your mind, I'm talking about the ones you have no control over, are the signposts that you need to look out for. One of the major obstacles to us acquiring self-mastery is taking the risks of leaving behind all that we know. This could even mean losing our friends and family, the people who we've spent most of our lives with and who know us. If we were to change, what if they wouldn't like us anymore? This fear of being outcast from the herd keeps many stuck where they are, unable to change their situation. To risk everything that up until this point they've known and loved becomes too much of a weight to bear, and the thought alone is enough, because that is all that it is. It's a thought. That thought is enough to prevent them from ever taking the action they need in order to change their minds and change their lives. The resistance to living differently or the fear of social judgment can not only hinder progress, it can downright prevent it altogether. Fortune favors the brave. For those unfortunates, they only have their lack of courage to blame. The fear of trying and failing deters individuals from pursuing mastering their minds. The thing about all these fears is that none of them are real. Even better, they aren't even your fears. They've been passed down to you from other people. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where all we do all day is run around scared of changing our destinies because someone else told us to be scared. You must work on reaffirming the thoughts in your head. For example, what if you were to try and fail becomes what if you were to try and succeed? What if? Okay, so it's story time. So the person I am today is very different to the person that I was 10 years ago. The thing is, that has all been deliberate. Would you believe me if I told you that I never read a single book that I wasn't made to read until I was 19 years old? And even at that, it was only one, and it was The Secret. A book that I'm so grateful for opening my eyes to an entire world, but it's also a book that I now think is a bit of a psyop because of the fact that it leaves out one of the most important things, which is the actual secret, which is action. You can't have attraction without action, right? Oh, that sounds like a good video. Anyway, at the risk of digressing, let's get back to the point. So a couple more years passed and I still had read no book. It wasn't until I got into trading through desperation more than a choice, to be honest, did I begin reading again. I read absolutely every book on trading strategy, psychology, and knowledge that I could find. Most books were technical and so boring, but I persevered. Getting into trading was a spiritual endeavor. I didn't realize it at the time, but now I know how much it actually changed my life. The problem I faced is I knew exactly how to trade. I understood the concepts, I had the strategy, but for some reason I couldn't make any money. Why? My mindset and beliefs didn't support it, that's why. I realized that the key to my success was to master my mind. So my next action was to read every single book that I could find on self-help. And I didn't even know that this type of book existed. In the process of doing so, the knowledge and skills that I began to practice began transpiring to other areas of my life. I realized that my mindset was the missing piece to my success, and that by mastering it, I could also take control of my life. Mindset mastery is your key. If you want to take control of your life and change it for the better, you must fully commit to the process of doing so. I wish I could tell you it's going to be easy, but it isn't. Everything in your being will try to find any excuse to prevent you from making change. But here's the trick. You don't have to listen. If you're still here, I'm guessing you're serious about changing things around here. So I'm going to give you a quick exercise. We're going to go over 4 key areas to changing this limiting belief that you have. The first one is awareness. We need to recognize your unconscious beliefs and thought patterns. Then it's challenge. So we're going to question and challenge these limiting beliefs. Followed by replace the negative thoughts with empowering ones. And finally, practice. We're going to cultivate mindfulness and self-awareness through meditation. But rather than give you a step-by-step, I want to give you a bit of a challenge that incorporates all of these key principles. And the best part is that it only takes you a few minutes every day. But if you do this for 30 days, the neurons in your brain will begin creating new pathways, and these pathways will create new beliefs which will bloom into your success. Are you with me? Alright, so for the next 30 days, I'd like you to find a time in the day. First thing in the morning or last thing at night before you go to bed is best. And the reason for this is because this is when your brain is most in theta brainwave state. And what you're going to do in this time is you're going to close your eyes and just think of something that you've never done before that is daunting to you. It could be anything, but for example, giving a speech in front of 1,000 people could be daunting. Whatever it is, with your eyes closed, just ask yourself this question. What am I afraid of? This question will reveal to you your limiting beliefs around whatever it is that you've chosen. As soon as you have an answer, stick with it. You don't need loads, just the one will do. We don't want to overwhelm your mind. Now that you've caught that thought with your eyes closed, I want you to say out loud, "That's not true," and replace it with a statement that supports you, beginning with "I am." Then, with your eyes closed, repeat this statement whilst visualizing yourself doing that very task that you chose. So I'm going to break it down for you so you can see exactly what I mean and what the process is. Everyone can do this. You have a spare couple of minutes in the day. You just need to choose you and put yourself first. So for the example, I've chosen speaking in front of 1,000 people. I get up in the morning, I get comfortable, I close down my eyes and I ask myself, what am I afraid of? The first thing that comes to my mind is, I'm not smart enough. So once I have this, I respond with, that's not true, negating the negative thought, and then I begin affirming out loud with my eyes closed, I am intelligent and capable of doing whatever I put my mind to. I do this, of course, whilst visualizing me taking part in the event of speaking in front of 1,000 people, like it's second nature to me. Do this exercise for 30 days and let me know how it goes. I can't promise you the results, but if you stick with it and you do it correctly, I'm sure you'll have a story to tell about how your life changed after doing it. And just to end on this, you cannot live the life of your dreams if you are not willing to leave behind the safety of the life you've been living. Everything you want is right on the other side.